Today we're going to go through my Ormsby HypeGTR 7 that I just got the other day. So we've got an alder body, we've got a laminated rock maple neck. It's a multi-scale instrument, 27.8 inches to 25.5 inches. It's all custom Hipshot hardware. It's a custom Hipshot bridge, Hipshot locking tuners. They do say Ormsby on the back of them, so they're actually made specifically for this run of guitar. This is the first production run of Ormsby guitars built by World Instruments in Korea. Now, World Instruments, little background on them, they build basically any instrument that's coming out of Korea is probably built in the same factory that this guitar is built in. LTD, PRS, SE, I think Schecter's even built there. Pretty much everything. So we've got 24 stainless steel frets. We've got Ormsby pickups. This is the Nunchucker, and this is the Daily Creme. For more information, see ormsbyguitars.com, and you can get everything about this guitar right on that website. Let's talk about pricing. This guitar is priced at around $1,100 or $1,200 USD. It's going to depend on the conversion from Australian dollar, of course. And it's very, very comparable to other guitars or other production guitars in that price range. So you're looking at like your mid-range LTDs, the Ibanez Iron Label multi-scales, that kind of thing. So when we're reviewing a guitar like this, we can't be comparing it to a custom shop guitar like ESP Custom Shop or my Emerald or something like that. It's just not really a fair comparison because those guitars cost 5, 6, 7 times more than this guitar does. So we have to look at it in what value we're getting for the $1,100. And I'll tell you what, the value for that is phenomenal. The design you can see is very thin. It's a nice light guitar. Lots of room to move around because the neck is actually a little bit wider than I would actually prefer. But there's a lot of room because of it, a lot of room to move around and play. You've already heard how it sounds a little bit on the distortion channel. Let's go through some of the other channels on my X-Specs. So as you can hear, the pickups are pretty hot. I enjoy them. They have a really nice tone to them. The guitar in general is just really great. It feels good to play. It's smooth. Everything is just... I feel like I can play like hell, and I don't play 7 strings, as you may be able to tell, because most of my riffs are not 7-string appropriate. And because it's an Australian guitar, I gotta do this once. So a couple of the things that I wanted to say about this guitar. There's a screenshot floating around of me saying my first impression in a private message to someone that when I tuned up and I pulled it out of the case, a string popped out of the tuner. And that's been used to cast some doubt on the quality of this guitar. It did, in fact, pop out. It was my first impression. What had happened is in shipping, the locking tuner had come undone, so it was not locked. So when I went to tune it up, obviously, the string fell out due to tension, right? It was a 2-second fix. It's so very minor. The other thing is when I popped out of the case, there was some damage in shipping. The tone pot got bent. The knob was just kind of hanging here. It was pretty loose. But I took it into my tech, and he put the knob back on nice and tight, and it does move a little bit. Like there's a little slant from being damaged in shipping, but it's so minor. Now, there are some flaws with the guitar, obviously, as you would expect at this level of production. So when you're in the $1,000 range, you're going to not get a perfect guitar. That's just the way that production works. However, it does many things right that far outweigh any of the flaws. So one of the flaws, of course, I had a little tiny notch on one of my frets, which occurs. So I had my tech do that. The other thing is there's some paint. It looks like some paint runs. I don't know that if you can really see that even. I'm gonna try to catch the light on it a little bit. So there's a little bit of paint flaw there, but it's not really a big deal. I mean, it's not any worse than you would expect on a production run guitar. I've played a lot of stuff from LTD. I've played PRS SEs, the Ibanez Iron labels, that kind of thing, and you get the same thing. In fact, this has very few flaws. This has less flaws than I expected on this range of guitar. I've had iron labels that just totally slice your hand as you come up the frets because the fretwork is just awful on it. I've had nuts that weren't properly cut and had to be replaced. I've had tuners that cut strings when you lock them down. I've had bridges with burrs in them. Tons and tons of stuff come in on production guitars, and these I was actually very surprised with how high quality and how flawless they actually were. So with minor things like damage in shipping, a tuning key coming unlocked, and even like the paint a little bit, this is still a gorgeous guitar. It's a huge value for the money. So I think that Ormsby is definitely a buy